The ripple effect of love for dads and families. So, what sparks your joy? What brings you joy? Oh my goodness. Oh, just laying down. That's okay. What sparks your joy? What brings you joy in your daily lives so that you feel more empowered, connected to your heart instead of being connected to um, all this other stuff going on? Muting the device. Okay. So, what are these small but meaningful things that light you up, that take a moment? So, let's just take a moment. A nice deep breath in. Let me just move this out of the way. There we go. A nice deep breath in and just be the best version of ourselves right here, right now, today. And take a moment to list three things, three sources of joy. And let's explore how they can energize your life and your family connection. Sometimes we're so stuck in that chaos, everything running this way, running that way, that we forget to just take in a nice deep breath and just notice the things that can bring us joy. When we're too much in our head, we can't take that time to be in our heart, to listen to our heart, to listen to what it has to say. And sometimes fear, anxiety, overwhelm, whatever emotion, negative emotion you're feeling, it can block you from being able to listen to your heart, to hear what your joy is. So we can snap, tap to calm down our amygdala, that part of our brain that's in survival mode, and so that we can be present a lot more right now. What is it that just brings you joy? Is it spending time with your little ones or your teens? Is it going out for a nice meal? Is it just baking with your teens? That can be a very fun activity to do. Interesting sometimes, but it can bring us a lot of joy. Is it having a nice family meal together? I know for some families that is a huge challenge. So, what is it for you, for your family? Have you asked your children lately, what brings you joy? What is it that brings you joy? I had the pleasure of having my children over on the weekend, and it just brought me lots of joy to be with them, interact with them, exchange with them. Um, it's always what I really enjoy the most, and it always brings me joy. They're very busy, and that's okay. But when they're there, everybody was there 100%, and we laughed. We had a great time. So, what is it that brings you joy? Something else that brings me joy is to support dads and their families so that you can have more joy. Christian was saying how, he never thought that his tween would be coming home from school and stopping by, giving him a hug on her way to go do her homework. That's new for him. That's a huge win. His son, who wanted to help out at school and went to support, older kids came in, and his son was able to stay calm, collected, right? And be kind and bring a solution to the situation. Stop the kids that were bullying the other one in a kind way. Can you imagine how much our world would change if tomorrow morning everybody woke up? I know it's a Pollyanna look, but it's okay. If everybody woke up and just said, wow, today I'm going to find a kind way to support someone who's having some challenges right now. So, what are some of those kind ways that bring you joy? And do you schedule moments of joy in your calendar? I want you to open your calendar right now and put a moment for joy. You can call it just joy, moments of joy. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 1 second, it can be 1 minute, it can be 1 hour. You get to choose what it is that you want, how it is that you want to start co creating something that is maybe new for you, maybe not. Some people were raised to be able to do this easily and it's perfect. But for some of us, it's a little bit of a challenge. We were raised maybe to be workaholics and joy. Who has time for that? Some of you love your work, and that's great. But do you have joy in other aspects of your life? And what kind of legacy do you want to leave to your children? Do you want to be remembered for the parent that worked all the time or the parent that took time to have fun and create moments of joy? And I think it's very important. I often say, I love myself enough to. Well, I hope today I can inspire you to love yourself enough to create moments throughout the week for joy in your life. Whether it's just for yourself or it's for yourself and your children or yourself and your spouse or your loved one, that's fine. Or yourself and friends. And when you leave from having some time with these people, do you feel more energized, more empowered? And if you don't, you need to question yourself a little bit. How is this bringing me more joy? Sometimes we do things out of a habit, and it was always done this way. Like Friday nights, we'd go out with the guys. Does that still bring you joy? Maybe you've evolved and they haven't. Maybe they've evolved and you haven't. It doesn't matter. But does that still bring you joy? So look in all aspects of your life. I invite you to pick one aspect. Do you want more joy at work, at home, with your spouse, loved ones, with your children, with your parents, if they're still around? With whom do you want to create more joy this week? And yourself. I think I started with yourself, not too sure. So how does that, and I want you to pay attention to how that energizes your life a little bit more. Do you remember what your mantra was in the beginning? Probably in I think it was beginning of January that we looked at this. What is it that you wanted to? What was your goal this year? Was it to have a beautiful communication in your family? Was it to be able to understand your family better? What was it? Was it to create more joy with your family? Was it to, sometimes doing a little bit of introspection helps us understand more who we are and what we want. Because when we're on the go, 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 that's great. We're getting lots of things done. but are we getting the most important things done? Those that align with our values, right? If you value honesty and you're so busy you can't even pause to see where it is maybe during the week that you aren't honest with yourself, right? So let's take a deep breath, relax the shoulders, and exhale. What's this one thing right now? Just take a minute, breathe into your heart, feel your heart beating. And what's one thing that you can do today or tomorrow that would bring you joy? It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't need to be going out skidooing. It can be something as simple as having a nice bath. It could be something as just sitting down 5 minutes to read the novel you've been reading, whatever that is, or to just sit and watch a movie with your family. Whatever it is, know that it's exactly what you and your family need right now. And I also invite you, we'll soak that in first. What would that look like? What would that feel like? Being careful not to add expectations in there. Just trying to create it in a way that you can feel it in your heart. There's an expression, feeling it in the bones, like you feel it deep down inside of you. You can see what that looks like. And having this type of intention connected to our heart helps us co-create more of what we want. And what is it that you're grateful for? So tap into the power of joy for more happiness in your life. So what is it that brings you joy? Think of the things that you can do, not the things that you can't do, because that's not going to support you on your journey, is it? Yeah. It's really important to just look at what it is. And I have a special guest coming Wednesday, Kevin. And Kevin will be talking about the Uchi app because in today's society and social media, teens experience more pressure and demands than ever before. It's really a challenge for us to understand that so many things can happen in 1 minute on social media. I mean, some of us who spend time there become aware, but we develop resilience. Who's helping your teens develop this resilience? Would an app with 0 social media ads be excellent for you and your family? Some families have joint custody, and it's important to have a way to communicate where everybody feels safe. So on Wednesday, I hope you can make it at 1 p.m. Eastern, where Kevin will be talking about how the Uchi app can help you out. Maybe it's something for you, maybe it isn't. This is something that he personally created, I believe. So to help you navigate a safe environment with your children. So I thought this would be very important for you and for your family. So I have a guest today who's popping in. So I will bring him up on camera. Here we go. Welcome, Christian. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very good. Thank you so much. And I was just telling that Wednesday I have Kevin coming in to talk about social media and an app that he has created to help families exchange more easily, without all the social ads and everything in there.
You know, I've had pleasure and privilege to be part of conversations throughout, as in our involvement is with youth and really, and again, I go back to my involvement is with the adults, with the parents. Um,
Mhm.
to me, I'm in a different place, and because I can not only self-regulate but also understand from my perspective what I needed back then and how
Mm,
positive structured, and then I'll give you the example, can be can be more
yeah.
problematic if not supported. So I just example would be
Mm,
if you work with kids, Christine, for many years, and you taught
mm,
them things, which again, all of our educators, thank you so much, very woo woo woo, because being an educator is one of those really hard professions. Those really, I mean, they should be. So, anyways, when you're speaking to young, impressionable minds
mhm,
and little humans, it's really impacting. And so,
mhm,
for us to not have kids for 11 years, and then we had our first, and now 13 years plus with kids, four of them, um, it allows me to understand that there are issues and things that I
mhm,
can say, or there are certain ways about it, or and now in the last couple of years, in the last couple of months, with self-regulation really helps me understand. But again, I go back to and speak to the parents because
mhm,
I know when I was a child and I would get invited to a church camp, or or I was involved in this like leader thing or different community things, and I was happy and I learned new things and I was excited to go back home and share them, and I'm like, hey, you shouldn't this, and we're supposed to this, and this is not the way that it's supposed to, and it's shut up, sit down, go do your chores, go this, go that, and it's like, well, wait, I'm bettering myself. Yeah. You better yourself. You better get in the kitchen and do your chores. You better get in the yard. And so I bring this because what sparks your joy, but also as you just mentioned right now, is we have to show, we have to lead with example. We have to lead. No. We don't have to.
we
if
can
you are
choose
being,
to.
if you are being led by an example that is not, and this goes to anybody and for everybody, you go to a coach and he has losses in every game, he yells and he yells and he screams and he screams.
Yeah.
And listen, that might work, whatever, or at some point,
Yeah.
times change, things develop, things, okay. Now you say you go to a tutor. Well, that there's two tutors. One yells, one doesn't. One is patient, one is not. One is this, one. And so you start equating, huh? I know I don't want to speak
Yeah.
that way to
Yes.
myself.
Yes.
And all of the stuff that I used to think and I used to tell myself and I've understood that that is not true.
Mhm.
These are deceitful lies and half truths that kind of get bent to follow the early age and development and support the beliefs and things that were taught to us, which is, remember, that's what this is all about. Your beliefs that are supported, which become what you know, and then therefore what is reality.
And how you behave with that.
And and how you behave with anything and everything, as we've been talking, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
If we have a car problem, well, wait a minute. Some people may not have a car. So
Mhm.
you want to get rid of your car problems? Get rid of your car. Well, wait a minute, wait a minute.
The Beck,
That's not what we mean. That's
I
well,
live in
wait a
the
minute.
country. I am not getting rid of my car.
But simplistic things that we can complain about and we say, hey, is this really about the car?
Yes.
Or I say, well, I'm having car problems and the check engine light and so
Mhm.
is it because and
Mhm.
again, just invite yourself to, and I go back to the self-regulation because it really goes back. I mean, that's really goes back down to, but it helps. It really helps me not only be present today,
Yes.
to be able to shift because I didn't need scolding. I didn't need anything else but support, love, and understanding just to be listened to. And so being able to equip myself as a better listener, as a better communicator, and I start getting frustrated with individuals that are like myself or like-minded and they're not getting it and I'm going,
Mhm.
this is basics, this is simple. But you know what? I step back and I say, hey, this is what I do. I just tap and breathe. But
Yes.
and I point to the QR code, I point to her, I point to and I say, seek out. Because remember, I can only do with the skill sets that I have as best that I can,
Yes.
but I don't over I'm this guru. No, no, no. I'm in it with y'all, everybody here.
Yes, you
And
are.
because because we are transparent. I don't use that other word with that V anymore.
Transparent is much better, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
It feels right. It describes better the, situation.
It aligns
Lines
with
much
me
better.
much better, and I
Yeah,
choose to make the words that are spoken from me to add value. And even when I'm frustrated, I start thinking, and why? And so, right, we
where's
go
the
long-winded,
frustration coming from? Like,
we go
where
long-winded, and then we go right to the point. And I'm gonna go back and say, if you practice with yourself more, you
Mhm.
practice angering faster, you're going to get better at it. You practice being patient, then you're going to get better. Now,
Yes.
one of the things that I have found, and
Mhm.
Christine just yawned, but one of the things that I have found is
Shifting.
when we automatically, yes, see, and so I didn't understand why I used to close my eyes. I used to, and when people would talk to me, I kind of go, and it was this and I'm like, hey, I'm not doing it to snore, and I'm not saying you're boring me. I have to close my eyes and I have to like look up it's this automatic. So I'm learning because I'm always open to learning, and I started thinking and realizing, and I started learning that shifts like neck and crack that just happened. I
Yeah,
don't know if you
that
guys.
was, lots of tension was got came out of there.
Yeah, see, and the thing with yawning, and but here's the thing, I would at least explain myself because when I didn't, people were like, "What is he? Wait." So I wanted to make sure that somebody doesn't feel bad about my actions, and I still tend to, and I still lead with that. And because I don't want anybody to feel any sort of way about what I say, I
Yes.
always ask people, and I always tell people, you can hold me accountable, you can ask me questions.
Mhm.
You can hold me accountable and you can ask me questions
Yes.
because I don't claim to know it all. I know a lot. And even that, people actually rather not have discussions because I know a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to stop being helpful. I'm not going to stop being supportive. I'm not going to even slow it down. I'm not, all that I do is continue to dial it in. I speak, I act, I live with love, with kindness. I let that be known. I let, hey, my shortcomings be at the forefront.
Yes.
I don't have anything to prove to anybody. Trust me, you don't want to walk a mile in my, you don't even want to put on these shoes. You don't want to put on these shoes. And so I say, with kindness, with love,
Mhm.
I know you're going through something that you can now say, I got this,
Yeah.
and it's time for me to release. And when I say release, it's not just to let go, but to release and know that there's a solution. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's get to the root. I help my practitioners like Christine that
Mhm.
help you get to the root, not the symptoms, not
Yeah.
the ailments.
Yeah.
It's to the root.
Yeah. The
But yeah.
example that I like to give with that is like if you fall and you scrape yourself and it's in, you got some dirt and stuff and you put a band-aid on it, it'll get infected, right? You need to cleanse it out first for it to heal. Well, in us, it's the same thing. You can do things that just put a band-aid on your hurts,
Mhm.
but if you're not going to the origin of the hurt, to the core issue of it, it won't heal. It'll just kind of fester, right? And then you're stuck carrying that too now instead of releasing it and moving on. And your children, it's the same thing. I know none of you here listening has that intention. However, because we weren't trained or raised to look at what's hurting and how to release it, well, it may sound foreign, but it's not. It's easy.
Well, it is foreign, and let's jump
Well,
there. Let's jump there. Let's jump
yeah,
there because
for
Christine and I
some
both
it
speak
is.
English. With Christine and I both speak English. We're
Mhm.
communicating. We're clearly communicating.
Yeah.
Pero yo hablo español.
Sí, un poco.
Christine parle français.
Oui, beaucoup plus.
Je parle français un petit. Uh, it is foreign to me to speak French. It is not foreign to Christine to speak French. It is foreign to Christine to speak Spanish. It is not
Yes.
foreign to me to speak Spanish.
Mhm.
So, those that can or have heard about languages, it is foreign to you to speak in a different language. So, the ABCs are a different language, or let's say a derivative of your language. Oh, wait, because your language is love, your language is human, but we've been taught to speak in a different tone or in a different manner. I joke with we had a international meeting, and I love languages, so I'll make it very short. When when I speak Spanish with Puerto Ricans, I get a little bit of a ting, a little bit of a twang, if you will. I'll say it in English. When I speak to my Southern folks, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years, when I speak to folks in the South, and especially with my folks in Texas, well, I just all of a sudden just and get this accent, and it just comes out, and it's just natural.
Yes.
If I'm speaking in Spanish with my Boricuas, and it just gets faster, it gets a little
Mhm.
Dominicans a little different,
Yeah.
Cubans a little bit harsher, a little bit toned, but there's love in it. There's passion, there's kindness, there's everything, and it's not that one's harsher, it's the tones in the languages, and it's still Spanish, if you will, but
Yes.
each region. So I just welcome the world. I welcome you to open up and to maybe guide yourself to, first of all, is to come back to you. The self regulation,
Just
because that's truly where it starts. Allowing you to have a great day, allowing you to set your conditioning. You are now in control, and you get to decide how you're going to start your day, how
mm,
you're going to react to something falling on your foot, something that you missed this morning, a
mhm.
deadline you forgot, a project that you should have, or something that, you know what? Let's learn from it. Let's take joy from it. And
Mhm.
whatever really sparks your joy, please write it down on a sticky note, not on your phone, sticky note, and then put that right in front, right where you can see it every single day. Because that's one thing that I've learned a long time ago. Finding our joy, or just simply reminding ourselves of our joy.
Yes.
And I started with counting my fingers because not everybody's got 10 fingers. Boy,
Mm,
then I go to my hands, and not
mhm.
everybody's got two hands.
No, they don't.
I'm grateful for my two legs. I'm able bodied with two legs and all functioning. My heart, my kidneys, my lungs. I just go really back down to the basics and I say, and I'm grateful because as allies of folks with our inclusiveness that we're reaching out to, there are plenty that teach me. Boy, they teach me resilience. They teach me kindness. They teach me patience, and they just show it. And it's not something that they need to. And sometimes they get frustrated too. But
Yeah.
boy, it's just beautiful to see somebody with some type of, if you will, I call it super ability
Yes.
that they were able to overcome.
Yes.
But I share that with you and to say, and that's how I kind of go back to, and I am grateful. And then I get grateful for the things that are around me, not the things that I'm lacking, the things that I have.
Hmm. That's a beautiful distinction. Excellent distinction to be made. Not what I don't have, but what I do have. We're in such a world with so much, yeah, so much consumerism that sometimes we just consume without even thinking, and doesn't necessarily align with our values. And does it bring us more joy at the same time?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
And that's where we need to. Oh, we went way over, Christian. We
Oh,
need
way
to
over,
stop.
way over.
I need to stop.
Bonus times,
Let
bonus times.
everybody go.
Yeah,
And
we're going to let
well,
everybody go. Make sure you guys reach out to Christine and know some of these things we talked about. Reach out to a professional, speak to somebody, learn. If you don't learn, just start self-regulating, become aware. Just take one step at a time. Reach out, speak, pick up the phone, pick up the text, social media, IM, chat, DMs, emails, calls, whatever you guys want. Christine's available. We're available. We'll get you connected to the right individuals.
thank you so much, Christian. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we talk about unlocking your joyful energy. Ooh, I hope you have a lot of fun, and I will see you tomorrow to unlock some more joy and open up to more joy. And if you want to book a call with me, the QR code at the top is to book a call. I wish you a